Hey everybody, it's Dr. Levi. Welcome to the Dr. Levi Show. Today is May 17th, 2017. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I hope you're making a great day wherever you are. I want to thank everyone for joining, liking, and subscribing on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Thanks for all your great emails also. I really love interacting with you. And of course, today is all about the gamers. This is our Q&A day. So I take your questions from YouTube, Facebook, from multiple social media platforms, and we'll address them today. Before I get started, though, I'd like to talk to you about depression. So let's just have a medical moment, just a few minutes to talk about depression. So now, it's still unclear why people develop depression and some don't. We find there is an odd genetic correlation whereby some people, if they have depression in their families, we see sometimes that there's this common thread of other members of the family having depression. Now, let's define what is depression. Depression is a mood or feeling of sadness, of apathy. It can be symptoms of sadness, of sleeping a lot, of not having energy, of not feeling good, of not having any type of sexual drive, of not having any type of drive to do anything but maybe lay in bed or watch television, but not to do anything, really apathy. Now, the issue, of course, is, well, why or how do people develop depression? Well, we believe that it's because of neurocircuitry in the brain, that something's not, the synapses, there's not enough of certain chemicals in the brain and or structural components of the brain. Now, there are a lot of different treatments for depression, of course, and I'll go over just a few of them. But more importantly, I want you to be aware of the following. If someone is having depression and you're aware of it, or if they're having suicidal ideation, thinking about suicide, talking about suicide, I want you to go to the 1-800 number. There's a number that we'll put on the screen shortly that will give you access to call to get help. Depression is one of those, what I call a silent killer, sort of like diabetes. It's lurking in the background. Someone may have it but feel ashamed to talk about it. They may feel judged if they talk about it. And or they may feel like if they talk about it, it will alienate them more from friends and family. So to anyone out there who's going through any type of depression or feeling like they're not worthy or feeling very sad, and this sadness and apathy for depression is defined as lasting longer than 2 weeks with a lot of other symptoms involved. Again, the sleeplessness, the feeling of not just feeling good, of fatigue, tiredness, all these things that really put you in a state of not feeling passionate about life. Now, I always think of depression as just that. It's the antithesis of passion. It's when you're feeling low versus feeling good, and feeling good about life. So we're doing this show because, one, we want you to know about depression, and two, we want to give you an out. So if you're in that state, I don't want you to stay in that dark abyss. I want you to pull out of that cave of darkness. I want you to go into the light. I want you to feel good about yourself, and I want you to get help. Now, when it comes to help, what are the different types of treatment for depression? Well, there are many. There's cognitive behavioral therapy. There's what I call talk therapy, whereby you will sit with a psychologist, psychiatrist, and talk about how you feel, and they'll ask you questions. There's behavioral therapy, whereby you can talk one-on-one in a group. I mean, there are multiple ways of doing this. You know, one thing I just told a good friend of mine recently who was going through depression, she said, well, Levi, I really can't afford to go and talk to anyone right now because of my COBRA coverage with insurance, and she just wanted all these things she could. I said, well, what about if you just go and talk to the person at your synagogue? You know, talk to someone there, talk to your rabbi. You know, so I want to remind everyone that there are people you can talk to. You know, your rabbi, your pastor, your preacher, your friends, your family. Talk to someone. But I also say go to a trained professional so you can really get help. Now, other ways that we treat depression, of course, are different types of medications that will increase the amount of serotonin or epinephrine in your body, you know, to give you a better sense or a greater sense of well-being. Now, I always think that important to think about the following. So there's talk therapy, there's medication, also, of course, there's exercise. Exercise is great for getting the endorphins up in your body, make that feeling of wellness and well-being. Of course, diet, to maybe consider staying away from things that will bring you up and drop you off, like a high sugar diet, a lot of caffeine in the diet. Those are things to consider maybe minimizing. Other things, of course, there are other treatments that are a more invasive type treatments. There's electric shock therapy, which is used. There's also something now called magnetic resonance treatments for the brain, whereby there's actually magnetic waves that will target certain parts of the brain with the hope that this will actually minimize and decrease the amount of depression or symptoms that someone has if they have depression. So with that said, there's also meditation, whereby someone has a time just to sit peacefully and to meditate, to be in a state of gratitude, to relax, to not feel stress. The bottom line is to minimize stress in your life. Minimize it. So depression can also be treated with either one modality or with multiple modalities, maybe exercise and diet as well as medication, or maybe medication and talk therapy as well as exercise. So there are different ways you can do this. The key here today, I want to talk briefly about depression to give you some insights that you're not alone, to not feel stressed about it, and really to simply reach out. Literally that reach out and touch someone. We want you to do that. I want you to reach out and get help so you don't stay in that place of suicidal ideation. If you're thinking about suicide, reach out. Call someone. Call a family member. Before you do anything to hurt yourself or hurt anyone else, reach out. Have a plan that you're going to call somebody before you do anything. So please do that. And please look at the 1-800 numbers we have for you to call. That will also give you hopefully a feeling of community. I think that's what's so often lacking now is community. So if you're feeling depressed, reach out, get some help. All right? That's very, very important. Now, with that, I'm going to answer your questions today. This is our famous Gamers Q&A show, so much to discuss. I have a lot of questions from all over the world, so we're going to talk to you today about your questions and hopefully give you some help. Now, and don't forget, you can always submit your questions via Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch TV. And don't forget, Twitch TV is the first Saturday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's the Dr. Levi stream, so join me there, of course. But again, YouTube, I'll take your questions there. So I want to hear how you're doing, how you're liking the videos, anything that you'd like to see more of. Also, to let you know, we have a big OSU video category coming up very, very soon. I think it's going to really be fantastic because the OSU community has really asked me multiple times about specific exercises for that gaming community. So I have something for you. It's going to knock your socks off. So get ready for that. So now let's take some of your questions and let's begin. So the first question is from Facebook. So I've been watching your videos. Thanks very much for the exercises. They have been awesome for me. I had an injury 1 month ago in my elbow, and it was hard to play games and work. I'm a software engineer now, and I feel better. I feel way better. But I have a question for you about the correct position to sit and position of elbows on the desk. I usually have my entire arm on the desk, but I don't know if this is right, or the distance between my body and the table. So this is a great question. So the first thing I want to do is refer you to a video that we have on YouTube about posture and ergonomics of your desk. It's so important that if you're resting your elbows on your desk, that you don't leave them there. It's better to hover your elbows over the desk or your forearms and not simply rest your arms for long periods of time on the desk, because this can cause compression of the ulnar nerve here. So this is the ulnar aspect of the forearm and the wrist. This is the radial aspect of the wrist. The median nerve is here. That's the carpal tunnel nerve. The ulnar nerve is here. So let's talk about that. So if you rest your arms and elbow directly in this area, it can really cause some long-term compression of the ulnar nerve at your wrist. Now, if you have issues at your wrist from compression from the ulnar nerve, it can cause what we call compression of the ulnar nerve at Guyon's, G-U-Y-O-N apostrophe S, Guyon's canal. And how does this manifest? We can have numbness and tingling in your small finger and half of your ring finger, the ulnar side of the ring finger, some loss in dexterity of the small finger and the ring finger, some decreased grip strength in the hand as a whole. So with that said, if you're having numbness and tingling pain, decreased dexterity, if you're resting your hand on the table for a long period of time, your elbows, it may cause compression there. Now, with that said, we often talk about using gel pads, for example, but I really think it's better to have the height of your chair up high enough whereby you're not going to rest your forearms and elbow on the desk or on the table for a long period of time to avoid any type of compression. Now, if you do, then you want to do some exercises. So some exercises I want to show you from the side here are the following. So just this. So we've done these before. Just in and out. Make a fist, out. Make a fist down, flexion of the wrist. Hand up, extension of the wrist. Down and extend. Down and extend. So that may help somewhat. Now, the bottom line, though, is always about prevention. What can I do to not get problems with my elbow or my forearm or my wrist? So, again, look at that video on YouTube. It has all of the proper measurements for assessment of your computer, your console, your monitor, your keyboard, and your mouse. Everything is there. So let me know if you get a chance to see that and if it helps you. If it doesn't help you, then we can address this more. But that video is very, very complete. We've had a lot of great comments about it, and I think it has over, I want to say, maybe 35 or 50,000 plus views, maybe more by now, but it has a lot of views, so that'll help you, all right? So let me know, and of course, keep on gaming. All right, the next question is, I'm a 23-year-old Hirayama disease patient. Hirayama is spelled Hirayama, Hirayama disease patient. Can you please tell me which exercises I must do? And sir, I'm a dentist, so it's so important for me. So let's talk a little bit about Hirayama disease. So Hirayama disease is also called juvenile spinal muscular atrophy non-progressiva. Now, that disease process can cause atrophy asymmetrically in the upper extremities, lack of strength in the upper extremities and the hands. So for yourself, what I would recommend the following. One is I'll show you some exercises. I'll show them to you now. And I recommend that you talk to your healthcare provider about these exercises to see if he or she can add more exercises for you. Hirayama disease, it's a non-progressive type of spinal muscular atrophy. And often we would treat people with, believe it or not, a cervical collar, because if there's less flexion of the cervical spine, often they have fewer muscular issues. Not all the time, but sometimes. So I want to go over a few exercises I think may help you. So take a look. I'll do these from the side here so you can see them. So I recommend getting a 3, 4, or 5 pound weight. You're going to hold the weight in your hand. Going to bring the weight in and out to the front and side here, in and out. Then hold your hands up, and you do it at the same time bilaterally, okay? And you're going to have the weight in your hand, the 3, 4, 5 pound weight. You're going to just go up and down with the weight, side to side with the weight. That's radial and ulnar deviation. And then you're going to flex and extend your wrist, again, holding the weight, ulnar deviation, side to side. So a set of 20 up and down, a set of 20 to the side, radial and ulnar deviation. And then you're going to hold that weight and make small circles, a set of 20 in one direction, clockwise, a set of 20 in the opposite direction, counterclockwise. And then put the weights down, and then just with your fingers, flat palm, piano in, piano out, piano in, piano out, piano in, piano out. Then the next exercise, again, the exercise I'm going to show you, these are for intrinsic as well as the extrinsic muscles of the hand. So the next one, it's just in and out. Abduction of the fingers, adduction, bringing them in, abduction, taking them away, in and out. Again, a set of 20 like that. So those are some basic exercises. Specifically as a dentist, there's so much hand dexterity work involved. You know, if you're cleaning someone's teeth, or if you're extracting a tooth, or placing braces, I mean, it's so much hand work. So hopefully those are things that will help you. And if you're using a computer or a mouse, I should say, then I'd really be clear about modifying the mouse speed, the sensitivity of the mouse. That may also help you. You know, if you have a higher sensitivity, it would take less movement of your hand, therefore less energy expenditure. All right. So I hope that helps you. You know, Hirayama disease is very interesting. I've read about it tremendously. I've only seen one case in my career, one case. And that was a very long time ago, actually. You know, we found that disease to be more common in someone of Japanese or Indian ancestry, more common in males also. So it's very, very intriguing disease process. So I hope this helps you, and please get back to me and let me know. I really want to know if I can be of greater help to you, if I can give you more exercises. I have a literally a catalog of exercises that I can share with you. So I hope that helps you. All right, the next question is, Dr. Levi, I'm writing you from Moscow, Russia. 4 months ago, I overplayed my PlayStation 4. I was playing 4 days, 7 hours a day. After that, I felt pain in my wrist and palm. It's been here for already 4 months. I wore splints for 2 weeks, rested for 1 week, used NSAIDs, gel, etc. Now it gives me pain only when I use my smartphone, keyboard, or mouse. I work with the PC and smartphone, cannot avoid it completely. When I sleep well in the morning, nothing hurts. But when I start working my PC, it gives me burning pain instantly. I do exercises every day for 10 minutes. Also bought myself B vitamins, but it does not help much. Ultrasound did not show inflammation of tissues and tendons. I do not have numbness. Could you please advise if this could be CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome? Should I get steroid injection? Any other advices? Okay, so the key here is that you said that you felt pain in your wrist and your palm. All right, so let's go over a few things about CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome. Now, you said you had pain in your wrist and your palm, so I want to go over a few things, just some basic anatomy here. So this, again, is the carpal tunnel area right here. So if, you know, when I'm doing surgery, for example, if I'm doing an incision here to release the issue that causes carpal tunnel, you're going to release something called the transverse carpal ligament, TCL. So the layers of the hand are as follows. There's the skin. Here, there's a subcutaneous tissue, there's a palmar aponeurosis, and then there's some transverse vessels there, and then there's the TCL, the transverse carpal ligament. And under that ligament is the median nerve. And next to the median nerve and under that, there are multiple flexor tendons of the carpal canal. Now, carpal tunnel syndrome, again, it's a neuropathy of the median nerve. It's actually a median nerve compression from the transverse carpal ligament. And how does it manifest? There's numbness and tingling in the thumb, index finger, middle finger, and this half, the radial half of the ring finger. It manifests with pain at night sometimes, where someone will wake up at night, have to shake out their hands. They will have to put their hands in warm water. Some people put their hands in cold water. There's a lack of dexterity. For example, if you ask them to pick up pennies or tacks or marbles very quickly, they have difficulty doing that. It can also manifest, of course, with simple pain. So some people have pain, some will have numbness and tingling. And again, it's mainly on the thenar aspect of the hand, this part of the hand over here, or pain right in this area. Now, so if you have that the problems that the symptoms I just talked about, then yes, you may have carpal tunnel. But it's so important that you get the following. Number one, if they did an ultrasound of the hand, it's imperative to do an ultrasound of the wrist, because many times with proper ultrasonography, depending on the skill of the ultrasonographer, they can see actually via the ultrasound if there's swelling of the median nerve, or if there's thickness or fibrosis of the transverse carpal ligament, which can cause compression or stenosis of the median nerve, thereby causing carpal tunnel symptoms. So you can do that to check it. Another thing, of course, is a test. It's called an EMG. These are electromyographic testings, or an NCV, a nerve conduction velocity test. This will also test the median nerve. So I would say, number one, before getting an injection, number one, I'm a real conservative surgeon. I love operating, but again, it's the last thing we should do. So I recommend the following. Try wearing the braces again for maybe a month, especially wear them when you sleep at night, because so often when we sleep, we would go into this fetal position like this, and for hours, your wrist may be hyperflexed, which puts a lot of pressure on the median nerve. So I recommend definitely wearing your braces at night. The anti-inflammatory medication, if that worked for you, you can continue that depending on what you're allergic or not allergic to. But of course, talk to your doctor, talk to him or her about that, about any type of medication. Make sure that you're eating properly, that you're exercising daily, getting proper sleep, and to do the stretches. I want to show you some exercises specifically for carpal tunnel syndrome. I have a video on this, so you can look that up also. It's on YouTube, and it's a video specifically for carpal tunnel syndrome. And this video will show you gliding exercises. I'll just give you one part of it right now because I want to help. So the gliding exercise are done like this. So your elbow is straight, your hand is in front, and bring your wrist around, clockwise position or counterclockwise position for a set of 10, and then back the other direction for a set of 10. The key is to keep your elbow straight, all right? Back and forth around, just like that. 10 one way, 10 the other way. Those are basic gliding. That's gliding, gliding exercises. Again, I have an entire YouTube video dedicated. I think I actually have 2 of them now, dedicated to carpal tunnel syndrome. So if you look that up, you have a wealth of knowledge that'll really get you feeling better. Now, I want you to feel better because 1, I want you to have great health. 2, I want you to be able to play, of course. And 3, I want you to be able to play without pain. That's the ticket here. You know, in the gaming community, so often we play, but we play with pain. We play when we don't feel well. I want you to be healthy. I want you to feel good. I want you to have full use of your hands while you're gaming. And guess what? When you're not gaming, I want you to feel just as great. I want you to have perfect health. All right? So, again, I hope this helps you. Russia is definitely on my list, so I'll have to get there, too, to Moscow, to the St. Peter Square, and to just enjoy the great people there, I'm sure. I have to do that. So that's the issue here with carpal tunnel syndrome. I hope that helps you. So I would again, I want to reiterate, the physical therapy, the bracing, your diet, exercise, acupuncture, which I love, so I recommend that if you have access to an acupuncturist, and physical therapy. And then if none of those things work, then yes, then consider the steroid injection with your physician. See if he or she would like to do that also. So I hope this helps you. Let me know. All right, the next question is, Dr. Levi, I had a quick question. So recently I started having issues with RSI, that's repetitive stress injury, in my right shoulder from playing OSU with a tablet. I know dealing with hands are your strong suit, but I was curious if there's anything I can do to help heal this. Also, I just got to say, I really appreciate all that you're doing for the gaming community. Well, that's really nice of you, so thank you. So, yes, so number one, I really like Osu. I mean, I just had on our show recently Happy Stick, who's a major player in the Osu community and a phenomenally wonderful guy. A great, great human being. So shout out to great Happy Stick. Hashtag Happy Stick is awesome. So look, so let me tell you. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and yes, I take care of hands, wrists, elbows, and shoulders. But guess what? I also take care of people who have ankle injuries, back injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries. As an orthopod, we're really fortunate in this part of medicine to take care of the entire body. And the other thing I love about orthopedics, we take care of the entire body in different demographics, from young children to teenagers to young adults to older adults to the geriatric population. So it's really wonderful to have a chance to take care of people of all ranges and ages of life. So yes, I do take care of shoulder issues. So let's talk about this. So Osu, if you're playing with the tablet, of course, I want to show you 3 things that you can do that I believe will be helpful. So the first, and I'll do it from the side here so you can see it, is just when you're playing, you can even do this while you're playing, just to roll your shoulders back, all right? Roll them back for a set of 10 to 15. Roll them forward for a set of 10 to 15. I got to tell you, even as I do this now, it's one of my favorite things. It's going to feel so good. Then the other thing is just basic shrugs, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, again, I recommend a set of 10 to 15 for 3 repetitions. Now, the issue with shoulder pain is the following. It's where is the pain located? Is it the anterior front of the shoulder, lateral aspect of the shoulder, or the posterior aspect of the shoulder? Because there are different muscle groups that attach in different places. For example, if it's a rotator cuff issue and it's anterior, it may be due to subscapularis dysfunction. Or if it's lateral, it may be due to this is subscapularis. This is supraspinatus if it's lateral. Now, the posterior muscles that may be involved, of course, are the teres minor as well as the infraspinatus. So those are the 4 major muscles of the rotator cuff. Now, if you have anterior pain in your shoulder, it can also be caused by the proximal anterior biceps tendon, which you may have a tendonitis or a tendinopathy there. So the key is the following. I recommend that you reassess how you're holding the tablet. Hold it differently, maybe not as acutely. The other thing I recommend is taking time every hour to take your 5-minute stretch break. That is critical. It's key. We have to do that. And you're not doing it because you're feeling like you're being penalized that you have to stop playing for 5 minutes. Think about it. If you play for 6 hours, you stop 5 minutes every hour, that's only resting for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. What is 30 minutes for you to have maintained health? So I recommend that you do that. It's incredibly important that you really prioritize your health. As a gamer, so often we just game through the pain. We gain through the discomfort. I want that to stop. Part of my platform is about preventive care. Part of my platform is about healthiness and health forever. I want you to have maintained health. And I want you to have a healthy lifestyle with respect to the choices that you make about food, about drinking, about smoking, about exercise, about stress, and about meditation. These are things I really want you to think about. I want our community, the gaming community, which is a vast part of the world community, to be healthy. That's my goal. All right? Now, so I hope that helped. So change the tablet position. Take your 5-minute break. I showed you some basic shoulder exercises, and then go to the website, YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Join us there so you can get some of the newest videos. And then the other thing that's most important is that as you see the other videos, many of them will show you other exercises for your shoulders. All right? So everything is there for you. Okay, let's go on. We have a lot of questions today, so I want to try to get to most, if not all of them. The next one is, Dr. Levi, I'm using really low sensitivity when I'm playing games. I use up my whole mouse pad area, which is 50 centimeters in length. Is that okay? Yeah, I think that's all right. The key is the following. With low sensitivity, do you have less ache, less pain, less discomfort in your hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder, and neck? If you have less of that, then continue with that sensitivity. But I also recommend the following. Even if you have low sensitivity when you're playing, maybe every 2 weeks or so, just for one day, try increasing or changing that sensitivity. It's good to shake up your body. It's good to do something different. As I say all the time, if you do the same thing, you get the same results. So you want to shake it up. It's like exercising. If I go in the gym, or if you go in the gym every day and do the same thing, your body won't really change. But if you shake it up, and do something different, instead of doing a stair climber, do a Stairmaster, or do the bike, do the recumbent bike. There's so many different things you can do. Take a class, take a exercise class, take a Zumba class, take a Pilates class, take a yoga class. The key with fitness, you want to shake it up. You want to do very different things, because health is about diversity. So if you diversify the muscles that you're using, then you get increased diversity with respect to your overall health. That's what I want for you. All right? Now, next question. Now, I hope I answered that. I hope that was enough. If not, let me know. But the 50 centimeters, it's okay. And a low sensitivity, I think that's fine. But I still recommend changing it up every 1 or 2 weeks, just to give your hand a break. Give your shoulders, elbow a break. All right. Now, the next question, and our goal is to really get to all the questions today, is, okay, Dr. Levi, what are your recommendations for someone with a shoulder dislocation? Well, the first thing, if you have a shoulder dislocation, make sure you have it relocated. That's number one. You don't want to have a shoulder out of place for 1 hour. If you have a shoulder, when it comes to dislocation of the shoulder, hip, or really any joint in the body, you don't want to wait. For example, the hip, if the hip is not relocated within, I believe, it's like 6 hours, there's a high percent, over 50% chance that you may develop something called AVN, avascular necrosis of the hip, whereby the hip will actually die. The head of the femur. So that's for a hip dislocation. So when it comes to dislocation of the hip, immediately get that reduced and have someone help you if you have that problem. Shoulder dislocation, the same thing. If your shoulder is dislocated, the first thing they'll do when you get to the ER, they're going to do an axillary view of the shoulder, which will confirm if it's dislocated anteriorly or posteriorly. But usually you can actually tell depending on how they clinically present. And after that's done, then the next thing is to have that shoulder relocated. So if you have, I want to repeat this. This is critical. This is critical. If you have a shoulder dislocation, you have to have that reduced. You have to have your shoulder put back in its proper position in place. That is critical to minimize any type of arthritis that you may have in the area. It's critical that you do it for just function of your shoulder, but don't wait. So my number one thing, if you have a shoulder dislocation, go to the doctor and go to the emergency room, go to an urgent care, whatever's closest to you, and have your shoulder put back in place. This is the most serious question I've gotten in a long time about dislocations. Again, if you have a dislocation, go immediately to a healthcare provider to have your shoulder relocated. It is of utmost criticalness. You have to do it. You have to. All right? And then after it's relocated, they'll give you exercises, everything from pendulum type exercises to rotator cuff stabilizing exercise, which is internal and external rotation for the shoulder, to basically to strengthen the shoulders strengthen the muscles that are around the shoulder to increase its stability. And those are the rotator cuff muscles, which I talked about earlier, the subscapularis, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, and the teres minor. All right. Okay. Next question, again, is from Facebook. I heard that eating a lot of sugar can affect gaming performance. Is it true? I hope yes, because it can stop me from eating junk food. Ha. Okay. And the ha is actually on here too. So yes, sugar and junk food while you're gaming is no bueno. You want to really make a wiser decision about what you're eating, what you're drinking. If you're eating or drinking, let's say, one of these energy drinks that's full of sugar, full of caffeine, all of those things I've talked about before ad nauseum, is that they will bring you up and then they will drop you off. So you want to eat and drink things that will give you sustained strength, sustained energy, so that you're not fatigued, so that you're not tired, so you can game well and you can game competitively. That's what it's about. Are you competitive? So eating things that are not great for you, this doesn't help you at all. Zero. So no. So sugar, again, no bueno, not a good thing to do. So yes, I think if you want to have some snacks while you're gaming, what about like some carrot sticks? What about some cashews? What about some almonds? What about walnuts? What about olives? I love olives, actually. I was just telling someone the other day that I literally, of all the things I could eat every day, dates, which I love, and black Kalamata olives, I literally could eat olives every day. I absolutely adore olives. I love them, and I think they love me back. So with that said, yes, sugar, you should try to minimize it. I think that's best. All right, now let's get to some other questions. These are from YouTube. I tell you, I have to thank you all for subscribing. Our YouTube channels continues to grow, organically and intensely, and I can't wait for us to get to the 100,000, the 500,000, and the million. It's gonna happen. I'm clear that being of service to the gaming community, as I've embraced the gaming community has always embraced me with such love and compassion. I'm really, really grateful. And I'm grateful I can use my platform as a physician, as an orthopedic surgeon, as a fitness guy, as an author, as a motivator to really get our community healthy, fit, safe, and more importantly, to be able to game for life without pain. It's all about prevention. All right. So again, thanks for joining us and subscribing to our YouTube channel and all our other social media. So this is from YouTube. Dr. Levi, I recently started to lift weights. For some reason, I find that a day after my workouts, my little finger is sore, has a light tingling sensation. I stretch my nerves often with exercise. Do you have any other advice or maybe an explanation? Is this harmless or should I be concerned? So I've had this conversation many times with patients who use weights for weight training and for fitness and health. When I tell you some of the answers, you're gonna it's really intriguing. The most common reason I find people will have that numbness and tingling in their small finger is because they're not using any gloves when they're lifting weights, and the weight is compressing either the common digital nerve of the small finger or a component of the radial or ulnar digital nerve of the small finger, the way they're grasping the weight. So the first thing I would do is make sure that you're holding the weight properly and that you're not, when you're using a weight, for example, like a biceps curl, that you're not flexing your wrist on the concentric motion when you're coming up, that you're actually keeping your wrist in a neutral position. So the weight should be like this if you're doing a biceps curl and not like this. This is not good. See that? So I'm flexing my wrist up. You don't want to do that. You want to have your wrist straight and bring the weight up like that. All right? So often someone will have less pain if they have weightlifting gloves because many of them will have either a gel or a pad over this area that will minimize the increased compression on the common digital nerve of the small finger or the radial or ulnar digital nerve of the small finger. So that will help. Now, other times, people have this problem because of using straps on their weight gloves that are too tight. That will cause compression of the ulnar nerve of this side. So they'll put on their weight gloves and their straps on the gloves and they'll wrap them too tightly, and that can cause compression on the ulnar aspect of the wrist, which can cause problems with the small finger. So as far as stretches go, yes, here are 3 for you. Number 1, your hand straight out. Just bring your small finger. I'll do it from the side. Well, let's do it from here. Bring your small finger in and out. That's abduction, adduction of the small finger. Here, up and down with the small finger. And these won't be easy to do either. Up and down, up and down. I want you to try it with me right now. If you guys can see it, take a look. So again, up and down like this with the small finger. Then side to side, in and out. Now, small circles with the small finger. Back around with the small finger. All right, so clockwise circle, counterclockwise circles, 10 and 10. Up and down for a set of 10. In and out for a set of 10. All right, so try those. I bet they'll help you. And then let me know how you're doing, of course. All right, the next question is, I also want to say congratulations. Lifting weights is a great thing to do because when you lift weights, you increase your bone density. So, women who lift weights will stave off osteoporosis and osteopenia by lifting weights. Men who lift weights, the same thing. So, so often people will tell me that, hey, I've been running and running all my life, but now my doctor says that I had a DEXA scan, and now they say I have osteoporosis. How can I have osteoporosis? Well, running is not enough. Running is a great way of getting healthy, but it's not the only component. We have to lift weights to stress the bones. When you stress the bones, you increase their density. So lifting weights is a critical component of being healthy. It's a critical component of a healthy lifestyle. We really have to do it. It's non-negotiable. If you want to be fit, you want to be healthy. Yes, you want to eat properly, drink water, decrease stress, meditate, do aerobics, do anaerobic activity. Lifting weights has to be a part of the anaerobic component there. Or CrossFit. I love CrossFit. And again, everything in moderation. That's the ticket. Moderation, but exercise, you have to do it. If you want to be fit, you either talk about it or you do it. So I recommend you do it. So congratulations that you're lifting weights also. So continue to do that. And your question about is this harmless or should you be concerned? I wouldn't be stressed out about it, but I would actually be vigilant about it with the small finger pain that you're having. And if it continues after you do the exercise that I've shown you for maybe like a month or so, then I would still say go to your doctor, go to him or her to be evaluated. All right, that's important. Next question. I'm a fighting game player that used to watch your videos every now and then and try my best to keep the decent form. However, a month ago, I had a large gaming session that lasted 2 weeks on an Xbox controller that I don't use often. At the end of 2 weeks, I experienced lots of pain in my hands and eventually developed sparkles in my pinky side of my hand. The sparkles eventually went away, but the pain is constant to this day, to the point that I can't even type 5 sentences on the keyboard. Docs don't know what's wrong with me because they tested my nerves and they were deemed perfect. I don't know what to do anymore. I also had a back spasm that temporarily mimicked the exact symptoms of carpal tunnel for about 5 days when I went to sleep. I guess I should note that my range of motion has not changed. Okay, so let's talk about this now. So the key here is the following. If you're using a controller that you haven't used in a while, your body's saying, hey, what is this? It just doesn't remember. So I recommend, again, when you're using a new controller of any type, the number one, to be surely to do those exercises every 5 minutes. Go to the videos. Those videos are evergreen, really. They're always applicable for the gaming community. To look at them and to do these exercises for strengthening and stretching your hands, your elbows, your wrist, and your shoulders. They're there. Pick out 5 exercises and do those. Do 3 exercises for 3 minutes, 1 minute apiece, and then do 2 other exercises, 1 minute apiece, for a total of 5 minutes. That's really, really critical. The other thing I would say too, if you're having the symptoms of the tingling in your hand, especially if you say it's in the pinky side of your hand, meaning the ulnar side of your hand, you could also be pushing your elbow on the desk, causing compression of the ulnar nerve at the elbow, which can cause a form of cubital tunnel syndrome. Or you may be resting your wrist on the controller in a certain way, or resting your hands down when you're holding the controller, causing compression on the ulnar nerve here at the wrist. Either way, it all sounds ulnarly related, meaning this side of your hand. So be careful to not rest your hand for long periods of time. Be sure you do the exercises, do the stretching exercises. Make sure you're eating properly and also exercising, meditating. And again, when it comes to gaming, game as much as you like, but just do the 5-minute stretch exercises. It'll help you tremendously, all right? All right, I want to try to get through a few more questions, guys. The next one is, so again, with carpal tunnel, we talked about carpal tunnel also. That's on the opposite side of the hand. What you're talking about, your small finger, is on this side, the ulnar side of the hand. All right. The next question, number 10. I play mainly Osu, and I've been experiencing huge pain lately. It's getting kind of ridiculous, actually. It's located somewhere or near my wrist and thumb. Okay, so I recommend the following. Are you holding the stylus too tight? Or are you not doing the 5-minute stretch break? Are you eating improperly? Are you For example, and I have to. The other thing about this too, you didn't say if you were right-handed or left-handed. Okay, so let's just go from this with Osu. So I'm going to assume here that you're right-handed. That's not necessarily a good assumption, but I'm going to assume that. So I recommend looking at how you hold the stylus. Are you holding a tablet in a certain way? And also, is it only Osu that you're playing? Are you playing other games that may also cause some irritation of the muscles of your hand or the tendons of your hand and wrist? All right, and you said it's near your wrist and your thumb. So I want to show you something. If you have pain in this area of your wrist, especially if you do this motion like this, if you bring your thumb on your hand like this, now drop your wrist with your elbow straight. If you have pain along this area, that is called the quervain stenosing tenosynovitis. Now, if you have pain and locking of your thumb, if your thumb locks like this, you can pop your thumb up like that. That's called stenosing tenosynovitis, or trigger finger or trigger thumb. So it's not clear here which you may have. If you have those two, you may simply have overuse of your hand, overuse of your wrist, or, which is a RSI, repetitive stress injury. And it's also possible that you may have tendonitis of your thumb or your wrist. The bottom line is this: I recommend taking some time to rest. If you're playing 8 hours a day, maybe play for 4 hours a day. If you're playing for 16 hours a day, maybe play for 8 now. But to break it down so that you're not overworking everything, that's what's critical. So I hope that helps you. Do the stretches for carpal tunnel, the wrist stretches, the gliding exercises, and I want to remind everyone, as a physician, I'm like your virtual gaming doctor physician. Make sure with everything I've said, make sure you reach out and go to your doctor so that he or she can evaluate you. All right. So I want to say, I had another comment here, Dr. Levi. Dude, you're so amazing just with your exercise for gamers video. Been able to play Osu for 4 hours with no physical pain. Great to hear that. Another one, this is so funny. Someone get this man a medal. Thanks for taking time out of your day to help even more than you already do. Well, I'm grateful to help, so thank you very much. And another one is, I love this guy's videos already, and I only found him a half an hour ago. I'm happy to hear that. So from that, guys, I want to say I'm glad you appreciate everything, and you guys rock. Please be sure to join me, follow me, and subscribe on all my social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. We're on all of those. Again, I want to just thank you very much. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this is our Q&A for the gaming community. And, of course, my words, game on. This is Dr. Levi, guys. Bye. See you soon.